Pat, you know I'm about to deflect back to you. Don't you dare try to put me on the spot. You better not do it. I saw you, dirty dog. I saw you trying to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and help you, Pat. God dag it. Tremaine Edmunds. No, in all sincerity, man, you already had the long intro. Nice intro, by the way. But I really want to get your thoughts because as soon as I saw this trade, I was intrigued basically not only by the fact that he was able to do it, but how much guaranteed money was there. So here's the question. Tremaine Edmunds, we signed him 4 years, 72 million, 50 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
It's twofold, right? Tremaine Edmunds is a young player. I believe he's going to be a really good player for the Chicago Bears. I think that you're going to see him, especially coming in here and playing the will linebacker, be a key piece of the Chicago Bears defense for years to come. I think that this is a good player to have on your team. Notice how I said that. Mm-hmm. You paid him essentially $2 million less than Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith is a 3-time Pro Bowler. I understand there's the beef that we have with how Roquan went about his business and different things like that.
Carry the foe.
But you basically paid him $2 million less than Roquan Smith per year, right? And here's the one thing that is good. How the contract is set up, it is a de-escalating contract. It's the similar contract to what they wanted to give Roquan Smith, right? A de-escalating contract that it's front-loaded, so it slowly decreases over the years that he's here. As he gets older, hopefully he's able to turn himself into a better player. We're out here having this conversation 4 years from now, talking about paying him like a Roquan Smith. But when I have to go through and say, I feel good about this because I got 2 linebackers for the price of 1, but both of those linebackers are worse than the linebacker I gave up, did I get better? Now, you have to fill these positions. I like the signing of TJ Edwards. I really think that's a steal. But we also have to me, right, like we also have to, I don't like appeasing myself to make myself like a deal. I like the player that he is. Edmunds is absolutely going to be a dog on this defense. He's going to dominate. He's going to be able to play in coverage. I believe he's probably the 2nd or 3rd best linebacker in coverage in the NFL. I think Edwards is going to be a really good asset in the middle, especially pairing them next to Jack Sanborn. But I'm absolutely appeasing myself for me to like this deal. $50 million guaranteed is a lot for Tremaine Edmunds.
Now, I asked this piggybacking off of that because you just mentioned both of them. TJ Edwards got 3 years, 19.5. So for 3 years, he got less than what Roquan, I believe, was asking for 1 year. Of which, so it breaks down to about 6.5 a year, something around that.
Excellent signing. Right? I think that's an excellent signing.
So if you're saying just too much money tied up into Edmunds at this point.
Well, I think right, like when you have to say we got 2 for the price of 1, and the Bears are kind of in that position, right? I understand it. I just look at what Edmunds provides, and I look at how Edmunds is on the field of play, right, and how he's able to go out there and attack, and I'm like, he fits what we do so well. He fits how what Matt Eberflus's scheme is so well. But I also look at the fact that, like you do in free agency, you definitely overpaid for him. Now, I also understand it's free agency. You were going to overpay for somebody. I would rather you overpay for a player that I believe is going to make an impact on the field than overpay for a player that you are trying to force to fit into your scheme. And I feel like that's kind of what Roquan was with Matt Eberflus. So it's a give and take, right? I'm not mad at the deal, but I also am making myself not mad at the deal because I'm looking at the amount of positions that we filled up.
As we invite my man Stefan the Don, what's going on with you, my boy?
What's going on, man?
Hey man, listen, I got a question for you. As you hot in, so you fresh out. We're gonna give it to you, right?
Fresh out.
Pat basically just said, I know, right?
Yeah.
Fresh listen, out. One pillow by himself. Anyway,
all day.
Question to you. So Pat is pretty much saying that, hey, he's appeasing himself, and I get it. Realistically, if you really look at it, it's not the fact that you're paying Edmunds $2 million less. It's like people are saying you're getting two for the price of one. You're really not.
You are.
You're really not. Because I mean, if you paid Roquan his money, you would only have to pay $2 million extra to get TJ Edwards. Because I mean, he's coming in at 6.5 a year. So it's like 26 million versus 24 million. Or is it?
Well, you're tying a bigger chunk of your cap up into Roquan. Right, that's really what it is. Over the length of the deal, Edmunds' deal is more what Ryan Poles wants, and Edmunds was a younger player. Edmunds is the younger player.
You
know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things. I understand the move 110%. There's a lot of things that to me make sense about this move. But I also look at it and I have to say, listen, I can't sit here and tell you Roquan Smith's not a better player. And
Roquan's
I have a tough time, right? Like it's the part of me that's like, I guess, right, in the basketball sense of it, it would be like, man, I gave up. What would it be like? I gave up because it's not Joel Embiid. Like I was gonna say somebody big, you know what I mean? Like I gave up a superstar player for two star players. And I think that's what both of these guys could turn into, right? Like I gave up this superstar for two stars, but I feel like my future is going to be a little bit brighter with these two guys that I have versus what this guy I have is going to do to me. That's kind of how it feels like to me. But I also look at it and I say, I still got two stars. I still can go out there and win. Maybe, right? Like it's a situation to me where you weren't in a position where Roquan could be the highest paid player on your team.
Yeah. I think the part that gets me, and I only thought about it, it's a great point you brought up. I think Roquan was asking for a 5-year deal, though, right? So
Roquan was asking for a 5-year deal. He got 100 over 5.
100 over 5 is what he was asking for. That essentially does break out to $2 million less with an extra year. Yeah, it breaks down to about $2 million yet less. It's a great point. Steph, I see you back on screen. How do you feel about it, man? How do you feel about this? Is it a twofer, like most people are saying, or did we just placate the city just by adding other people in?
I honestly think that you got two players that make up the difference for Roquan, and then you also have to remember that you still got to add in Jack Sanborn, and I feel like with Eberflus, this is gonna allow him to move Edmunds around a little bit more on the field, as well. I've already posted this on TikTok, shared the video in the Discord. Y'all can check that out as well. He's essentially fleecing. I believe this whole first day of free agency simply off the fact that I stated in the video this morning, like the first, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes in, signs TJ Edwards to 3 years, 19 and a half, and you getting 159 tackles. Then you turn around, Mitch gets his deal. We're looking at it again like, oh, well, this is the offensive line help they needed. Ben Powers got paid as well. He's like, all right, well, check this out. I'm gonna go Nate Davis. He's played 16 games up until this point, relatively healthy, doesn't come off the field. Two penalties all of last year. Yep. And this is why he was also out of position, by the way. Then you come back, then you get Tremaine. So that also bolsters up the defense. Now I'm looking at it from a defensive perspective as well, because I also stated in that video that now if you're looking at it defensively, all those pieces that, we talked about them possibly getting, now if you feel me, the Jalen Carter thing rounds out in the shape, and I know if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, but now you're looking at it from the standpoint of you got TJ Edwards on one side, possibly Sam Warner, Edmunds, whatever you want to do. In that category, I told you Eberflus was going to mess around with that. Jalen Johnson on one side, Kyler Gordon on the other. Yeah. We've, by all accounts, we can say that he's hit on those two defensive picks. Yes. Not hit
Brisker
on it.
Brisker and I think Gordon is still a little in the air. I like what he did at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say that Gordon is a slam dunk right now. Brisker's a slam dunk. Brisker's a 360 windmill Vince Carter, put my arm through the hoop dunk. Like you got a
so
you got an all pro
sure.
player for the next 10 years.
So to me, we can say that right now they've been solid. You add Carter to that list up the middle.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that you fixed everything defensively, but now that's a solid defense that I gotta respect. Couple that in with the offensive pieces that we just got. Now, the Bears are looking like a very, very, very scary team.
Yeah.
Coming into next season.
Steph, I want to ask you this real quick, if you don't mind. That I want to bounce back to Pat as we shift to offense.
Yeah, what's up?